able to, partner and collaborate with Vitality Nutrition and Wellness Center on how to basically creating a nutrition workshop on navigating the grocery store with increased confidence. And again, the entire goal here is to um, introduce nutrient-dense whole foods and potentially swap out or find alternatives for ultra-processed foods and inflammatory foods to align your shopping with your wellness goals. Now, again, this is a lifelong journey of wellness and um, small changes and setting small goals can have a major impact on your health and energy and a variety of different reasons that I will um, review moving forward. We're going to start with an amazing resource. It's a free resource. It's known as the EWG. It's an environmental working group. It's actually an organization that publishes a few different guides annually that promote sustainable practices, safe and healthy foods. And the best part about it is that it's free to the community. So I thought this was very important to include here because each year annually they're going to be publishing and outlining the top 12 produce items to get organic and the 15 items that are safe to buy conventional. And what I mean by that is these guides are offering a unique perspective on, which fruits and vegetables have higher exposure to pesticides, herbicides, mycotoxins, right? These potentially harmful sprays that um, these conventional farms are spraying on their crops. So to start with the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen, this is basically highlighting the 12 dirtiest produce, meaning these fruits and vegetables have been found to have the highest levels of pesticide residues, even after, washing them or rinsing them with water, they still are going to be um, filled with a variety of these different synthetic chemicals, right? So now, now that we have access to a resource that's free and explains um, this exposure to this chemical pesticides, we can open a new perspective on whether maybe we can buy organic from this dozen. Because if you're anything like me, I'm a college student. It's very difficult to buy everything organic. But after looking at this guide, I can prioritize, okay, maybe I'll get my strawberries organic and I can get my bananas from a conventional source. But I just want to show this picture at the bottom right. This is them spraying these chemicals, these pesticides on the crops, which I'm going to talk about right now. So they spray it in planes, they spray it in, their tillers, all these vehicles, and ultimately, what the most famous pesticide is known as glyphosate, and basically it's this synthetic chemical herbicide that they spray to, kill unwanted plants like weeds that are competing for the crop's sunlight, the water exposure, and taking from their nutrients as well. And then, why might this be a problem? People ask, like, why is this a problem? Um, this can lead to, damage in soil, water contamination. It's harmful to wildlife. And for humans, it's strongly associated with infertility, gut damage, and a variety of different cancers, which we can talk about moving forward as well. But I thought to include these pictures because it offers a unique perspective of like what is actually happening at the farms and what are these chemicals actually doing and are they harmful for humans? So with that being said, I found a few different ways to remove pesticides from conventional fruit. Now, according to a 2017 um, study from the University of Massachusetts, they found that the best way to significantly reduce pesticides on the surface of the fruit, so not inside the fruit, but soaking your fruit in, a bowl of water and adding 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and letting it sit there and soak for over 15 minutes is going to significantly reduce the pesticide exposure on the outside of your fruits. So now once you are finished, soaking the fruits in the baking soda, you can just throw it in the strainer, then rinse it with water. And ideally, if you have like a dish towel, you just lay your fruit down on the dish towel and just um, it's ready to be eaten. And no, it doesn't taste like baking soda. It actually tastes fresher, and I do this all the time with my strawberries. But this is very cost effective, super available in all grocery stores. Like you can find baking soda pretty much anywhere. And I get like the small box, the box rather than the large box because it does last long. It goes a long way, and it's a great way to remove pesticides. Um, and we know that pesticides are associated with harmful effects on humans. So, with that being said, we went over the dirty dozen. We went over how to clean the fruits within that dirty dozen. But now, what are some fruits that are safe to eat conventional? And um, should I be cleaning my fruits as well if they're conventional? So, the Environmental Working Group has created a list known as the Clean 15, right? It's highlighting the cleanest 15 fruits after testing. They have been associated with little to maybe zero detectable levels of pesticides. And the reason behind it is because they have like thick skins, thick layers, thick outer layers, like avocados, watermelon, to protect them from the need for these pesticide sprays. Now, when I'm entering the grocery store, I have my favorites are avocados and watermelon from the Clean 15. So those I'm going to buy from conventional. And then my favorites from the Dirty Dozen are blueberries and strawberries. So those I'm going to try to get organic. And this is just a great resource for me because sometimes I can't always afford to buy organic like I would like to, but this offers an opportunity for me to work my way around this and continue to eat fruits and vegetables because um, all the variety of benefits that come with that. And I will continue to explain that moving forward. But again, these guides are to help prioritize where you might not need to buy organic if you're trying to reduce pesticide exposure and you're on a budget like myself. Um, so this is another common question that I'm asked all the time, like, should I buy fresh fruit? Should I buy frozen? Should I buy organic or conventional? Should I buy what's on sale? Right? These are all extremely valid questions, and that's why the produce section could be the most confusing section for me to navigate as well. But yes, I love frozen fruits and vegetables. They are harvested at peak ripeness, and they're frozen right away. So my favorites are organic wild blueberries. Wild blueberries are going to have almost 3 times the antioxidants as compared to conventional blueberries. And they are so delicious. Like they just taste better to me. And it kind of feels like a treat, like an ice cream or something like sweet because it's frozen. I don't know, that just that correlation with me. And it's very cost effective. Like a bag of wild blueberries is $5, and it's gonna last me like at least 3 days. Um, so they go a long way, and you can add them into, Greek yogurt. I like to add honey on top of them. But again, just emphasizing how frozen fruits are very nutrient dense. They're going to have many vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and they're going to be loaded with fiber. And we'll get into that moving forward as well. But a few of my favorite vegetables are going to be butternut squash and sweet potatoes. And I just find it easier to buy them frozen sometimes. But yes, frozen fruits and vegetables are healthy, and I do recommend to buy them. And in regards to, transportation of fruits and vegetables, for me, it makes me feel better that they're frozen, they're sealed, and they just taste better. Again, emphasizing the taste on the frozen. So that brings me to another valid question, like, should I buy what's on sale? Should I buy what's in season? And yes, absolutely, if you can. Buying in-season fruits is going to be incredibly beneficial for you, your health, and the environment. Usually, I think like 99% of the time, it's going to be on sale. So it's going to be cost effective. Again, it's going to be providing a variety of micronutrients. You're going to be getting vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, prebiotic fibers that support the gut microbiome health. And um, eating seasonally, you're going to be doing your fair share in regards to making the world a better place from an environment perspective because you're supporting local farmers, you're supporting local practices, and if you're eating out of season fruit that could be coming from overseas, you're reducing long distance travel of out of season fruit, which is reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And I don't know, it's something to think about. And for me personally, I just want to make the world a better place and support local, always supporting local farms and businesses. And eating seasonally tastes better again. Okay, so why am I pushing fruits and vegetables so much, and why did we talk about all the benefits to it? Because fruits and vegetables contain obviously the vitamins, minerals, and the antioxidants, but the fiber is so important. Like, not only is it going to promote digestive health, but it's going to promote healthier bowel movements. You're going to have more motility in your GI tracts, meaning you're going to feel or you're going to have better movements. And for me personally, whenever I've had constipation or diarrhea, I've never felt healthy. I just, and most of those times it's because I wasn't consuming enough fruits and vegetables or whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, right? These fiber dense foods. And fiber is also going to support heart health. It's going to play a major role in, you know, cholesterol. It's going to soak up unhealthy fats in the bloodstream and excrete them. And in regards to blood sugar control, blood glucose, right? It's going to manage blood sugar, which is very important for all humans. It's going to delay the emptying of the stomach. So fiber is going to delay the emptying of the stomach. Um, and some of my favorite fiber-rich foods are going to be apples and pears and berries. I like broccoli and carrots as well. Nuts and seeds are going to be full of healthy fats and fiber as well. So you can add nuts and seeds into your Greek yogurt with your berries, and it's going to be amazing, fiber rich, little high protein snack, which is amazing as well. And we can talk about that moving forward. But again, we talked about should I buy frozen or not? I personally like frozen better. Should I buy what's on sale? Yes, usually on sale fruit is in season. Now that we're moving into summer, you're going to have a variety of, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. So moving forward, maybe introducing a variety of those berries and following the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen to identify whether you should buy organic or not. And then if you don't, you can always do the baking soda hack. Um, but yeah, this is the first part of the project that I wanted to emphasize was fruits, vegetables, and fiber, and a few resources that can help you navigate them and make nutrient-dense whole food swaps. So moving forward with honey, honey is extremely valuable for humans. It offers so many unique benefits, such as improved metabolic function, improved gut health. improve testosterone in males. And local honey is going to be great for individuals struggling with allergies. I love honey. I can't emphasize this enough. The problem with honey is that most of these store-bought brands are not testing for purity. They're not testing for glyphosate, pesticides, herbicides, mycotoxins, heavy metals, right? So this is something to think about for long-term health, long-term fertility, long-term gut health, metabolic function. And so for me, I've actually partnered up with this brand named Lineage, which is going to be 100% organic. It's raw, it's unfiltered, and it's tested for purity, which is really important for me, as I'm moving forward in my health and wellness journey. Um, but I was able to get a code for lineageprovisions.com. This is a brand founded by two functional doctors, actually two dual certified board doctors. And yeah, you can use my code Cahill23 at checkout and enjoy 15% off of raw, organic, unfiltered honey. And there's other products on there as well. So moving on to animal-based proteins, animal-based proteins are going to be amazing source of complete protein and micronutrients as well. You got red meat. You can choose from beef, bison, elk, and venison, which are my favorites. You can choose from chicken breast, chicken thighs, eggs, salmon, right? Pasture-raised pork, preferably. Um, but if you're ever just not sure what to cook for dinner, I personally always try to incorporate an animal-based protein. And again, here at Vitality, we emphasize varying your selection of variety, um, and introducing these foods as they can be extremely beneficial for your health. So to start with meat, um, preferably the meat is coming from grass-fed, grass-finished cattle that is from a regenerative source, regenerative farm. But again, all meat is going to be valuable for humans. It's going to be offering a complete protein containing all nine essential amino acids, meaning the building blocks of protein, right? That your body doesn't synthesize these, so you need to get these through foods. Now, red meat is going to offer very bioavailable iron, meaning it's very nutrient dense, and it's going to be loaded with B vitamins, vitamin B12, B6, thiamine, niacin, riboflavin, right? And many other minerals such as zinc, potassium, manganese, magnesium, and loads of others, and omega-3 fatty acids as well. And if you think about it from, in an ancestral view, humans have been thriving off animal-based proteins for evolution. But moving forward to the most popular source of lean, high-quality protein is going to be chicken. Chicken's rich in B vitamins and rich in minerals. It's complete protein. It's going to support muscle maintenance, muscle recovery, muscle performance. And my favorite way to prepare chicken is on the grill. If you don't have access to a grill, you can bake in the oven. Hopefully, it is cast iron. And I like to sear or roast them as well. Again, on cast iron or stainless steel cookware to avoid microplastic exposure. But these options are going to be healthier than fried meals, fried chicken that is most likely cooked in inflammatory oils, which we will get into moving forward. But here are two pictures of the difference in how chickens can be raised. So at the bottom, you have, organic pasture-raised chickens that are, raised in a pasture. They have plenty of space to roam around and eat bugs, grass, and worms, which is ideal. That's what you want. They have access to the sunlight. They're, soaking in sun. Whereas other chickens, cage-free, free range, they have limited space to walk around. They are indoors. They are being fed non-organic grains, right? That is being sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. Um, and they're also going to be injected with hormones and antibiotics. But again, all chicken is going to be offering relatively the same nutrient density, nutrient quality, right? But if you are trying to open a new perspective on how these animals are being treated, um, or if you are looking for a new grocery swap, introducing organic pasture raised chicken or eggs, maybe once every 3 times you buy chicken, because I understand that it's expensive. So what I do is, once every 2 times I go to get eggs, I'm going to get the organic pasture raised as composed to um, cage free or free range. So moving forward, so chicken, rotisserie chicken, very convenient. Many people find this to be, very healthy, or because you can feed your family with it. It's maybe what, $11, and that's understandable. But the problem with rotisserie chicken is it is very high in sodium, right? Sodium can lead to increased blood pressure, which can like going over your recommended daily allowance for extended period of time can increase your blood pressure, which can increase other problems in the body. But one serving of rotisserie chicken is roughly 600, I think it's more than that, but roughly 600 milligrams of sodium. So what that means is if you are going to buy rotisserie chicken, well, ideally you would substitute it for a grilled chicken that you can cook or roasted, etc. But if you are just, following the serving size, being mindful of sodium, and if you can find rotisserie chickens that are not sitting under, a hot lamp that is leaching microplastics into your food that could lead to problems with fertility, problems with gut health, right? These are all some things to think about that is not really being said. So I thought to include the rotisserie chicken as well. So now eggs are probably my second favorite animal-based protein, and they're amazing. They're nutrient dense. They are complete protein. They contain all 9 essential amino acids. They are going to be rich in choline, which is super important for, brain health, brain development. And animal studies are showing that uh, higher intakes of choline are associated with improved cognitive function later in life. So that's just super unique and interesting. So introducing eggs is an excellent animal-based protein, as it contains fat-soluble vitamins as well, vitamin A, D, E, and then it's loaded with B vitamins. And one large egg is going to offer like 6 to 8 grams of protein. So I try to I try to do like 2 to 3 eggs in the morning. Um, Americans are receiving the uh, least amount of protein throughout the day at breakfast. And protein is going to keep you satiated, meaning keeping you fuller for longer periods of time. It's going to be associated with greater gains and maintenance in lean muscle mass. And then protein performs various functions throughout the body. But my favorite way to do it is just crack it and just let it sit in there, sunny side up, over easy. But again, boiled, poached, scrambled eggs, they're all very nutrient dense, high protein snacks. So moving forward, um, trying to introduce these foods as, uh, you know, you're increasing the amount of micronutrients that you are receiving. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about understanding the labels of eggs because this is one of the most confusing things that the public is exposed to in the grocery store. So now let's start with organic pasture raised eggs. Again, the picture of them being outside, they're able to eat grass, they're able to eat bugs and worms, be in the sun, roam around in this large land, and they're going to be fed organic feed if they're not meeting their needs through, um, grass, bugs, and worms. Now, free range is going to be these chickens are going to have access to the outdoors and the sunlight, but they may not be able to get to use it often. Most of them just hide inside in the dark because there's so many chickens. To me personally, it's just a harsh environment for them to be grown. So when I'm buying eggs and I'm trying to find the highest quality, I'm going to look for USDA organic pasture raised eggs. And a few, my favorite is Vital Farms, but Pete and Jerry's eggs, organic eggs is amazing as well. So with that being said, I wanted to offer a new perspective that some people may not have been exposed to previously, but I seriously enjoy the wild meats, venison and elk. They're actually higher in protein than your typical beef, bison, chicken, and other animal-based proteins. They're going to be lower in saturated fat, and they're going to be so bioavailable micronutrients, bioavailable iron, zinc, B12, right? When we talk about iron and B12, those are the two most common nutrient deficiencies throughout our nation, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But um, grass-fed bison, amazing, nutrient dense and lean. And this brand Force of Nature, which is where I order like bulk of red meat because it's cheaper, it's from a regenerative source. They practice rotational grazing, right? When the part of the land that the cattle are on is not filled with nutrients anymore, no grass, no bugs, they rotate the cows to a different part of the pasture and regenerate that land. So it's sustainable. And for me, I want to support companies like that, right? And animals raised in these regenerative systems that are grass-fed, grass-finished, they're going to provide more omega-3 fats, vitamins, amino acids, meaning the building blocks of protein, minerals, right? So this is something to think about and open a perspective on. So with that being said so far, what is one grocery swap or nutrition tip from today that you plan to try this week? And feel free to comment in the chat, or if you would like to talk out loud, you're more than welcome to before I begin my next segment. Does anybody feel comfortable talking? Let's see, we got some stuff in the chat. Awesome. Amazing. So we're looking into the baking soda rinse. That's going to be an incredible way to reduce pesticide exposure. You're gonna start washing your fruit. That's amazing, Ryan. Um, Definitely going to switch to organic fruits. Love the lineage products. All right, that's awesome. So we kind of are on a good track. Now I'm gonna recommend one swap um, for me that I personally do, but I wanted to move forward a little bit and then save questions for the end as well. So, um, organic frozen blueberries, you're gonna love it. Throw it in some Greek yogurt, add some honey on there, and continue to add your swaps into the chat as we move forward, as I move forward with my presentation. Now, when I'm referring to the Environmental Working Group's seafood guide, and this is basically a guide um, trying to influence, the most sustainable and healthy options for seafood and what what seafood is highest in omega-3s, which have the lowest heavy metals exposure, right? What is the best source? And EWG, again, you can go onto Environmental Working Group's website. They have so much amazing information that can help you guys continue to navigate the grocery store with confidence and avoid these inflammatory foods that are contributing to lots of issues within our bodies, right? So my favorite on here is salmon. Um, I like preferably wild caught salmon as opposed to farm salmon, and I will get into that. Mussels are my favorite. We have them on the holidays. We'll throw them in, gravy or pastas as well, which, again, that's the holiday dish. But yes, a great resource for identifying seafood and which ones may be higher in mercury or other heavy metals. Like, for example, some bottom dwellers like crabs, crawfish, right? These are more toxic, right? These are going to be higher in heavy metals. Now, with that being said, I still I'm a Ventnor kid. I love to go crabbing in the back bays and then cook the crabs on my grill. But am I going to be doing this every week? Probably not. Right? So emphasizing variety of seafood, like a variety of proteins, like we said before, a variety of fruits is going to be very important moving forward, right? So um, let's talk about the benefits of seafood because everybody likes seafood for the taste and it's delicious, but I don't think many people know that it is a complete protein, meaning containing all those essential amino acids. It's going to be lower in saturated fat, and it's going to be higher in, anti-inflammatory omega-3s than most other proteins. Like when you go and get wild-caught salmon, that is just an incredible source of healthy fats, right? Um, Vitamin D as well, iron, zinc, so very micronutrient dense. And back to emphasizing variety in your selection. So now this brings to the topic of wild caught versus farm raised, right? So some people aren't really even sure what farm raised salmon is. So I'm going to explain that there are farms for fish, and it's just the craziest process ever. They create these big artificial, lakes, and they dump salmon in there and they feed them, right? They do all the process. But the problem is, for me personally, I would rather have wild caught seafood. It's more nutrient dense. They're thriving in their natural environment. They're eating their natural things that they're supposed to be eating, right? They're getting sunlight, and vitamin D can be shown to be substantially higher in wild salmon versus farm salmon. So moving forward, if you can, I'm not always able to get wild caught salmon, but once every 3 times I go to the grocery store, I will try to include wild caught salmon. Um, I just think it's really unique how that wild caught salmon is relatively the same price. And farm salmon, they're injecting coloring, they're injecting dyes into the salmon to give this bright, vibrant color. So when you're in the grocery store identifying wild caught um, Pacific salmon, there is no such thing as Atlantic salmon. Um, so identifying wild caught salmon is going to be ideal. Okay, so food dyes. Food dyes has recently actually just been getting notice from the government, which is, one of the first times in the history of my life that I've seen the government actually, um, look into these food dyes, look into these effects, right? These are chemical substances, additive foods that have no nutrient value, and they actually are harmful for humans. And most of the time, it's our children, it's our students that are consuming foods high in food dyes. These food dyes extremely harmful for humans. They lead to behavioral effects, cancer concerns, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, right? So these are something to think about moving forward and um, to avoid as they can cause inflammation and be harmful to us. With that being said, um, some common food dyes that hopefully will be banned within the next year or two are red 40, blue 5, yellow 5, blue 1, right? So these are the most common food dyes. And just, if you can look at the ingredients and uh, when you're navigating the grocery store, they're commonly found in cereals, you know, fruit snacks, definitely a lot of chips. Gatorade is another big one. Um, Gatorade is horrible. Uh, but I'll talk about that moving forward. But just increasing awareness of food dyes and the harmful effects that they could potentially have on humans and our kids is something to think about moving forward. So here is a little question just to get everybody engaged, and you can comment which ones you think is the best. Which of the following is the most nutrient-dense snack option? And maybe if you guys really want to test your knowledge of what you learned so far, what are some of the benefits to the correct answer, if you can remember? So I'll give you guys a little bit of time to see if you can throw some stuff in the chat. Okay, so we got some answers thrown in. Absolutely, there's going to be fiber within that mixed berries, nuts, and seeds, and they're going to provide so many amazing benefits for our digestive tract and for our heart health and promoting positive bowel movements. Of course, I love that. Love the guys. So again, potato chips are going to be most of the time they're going to have inflammatory oils, inflammatory ingredients, right? They're going to be fried. Um, And yeah, some potato chips have food dyes, so something to think about. Pretzels. I love pretzels. I literally don't buy them anymore because again, these foods are designed, these potato chips, these pretzels, these gummy fruit snacks, they're designed to affect your satiety levels at the level of the brain, meaning you don't know when to stop because it's these ingredients are just messing up your neurotransmitters, literally designing to tell yourself, I'm not full. I continue to eat more. And what is in them? Inflammatory oils, right? High in sodium, food dyes. So just something to think about moving forward. Um, my favorite snack alternative would be frozen berries, right? I'm going to throw some chia seeds and into my Greek yogurt, right? This is going to be super protein dense, satiating, and I'm going to feel good after, and my bowel movements aren't going to cause pain for me. So I think that's just a unique perspective there. Um, okay, so we all know that, nutrition and diet is it's pretty difficult to stay consistent and it's hard to learn all this stuff. Like I've been on this journey for over 10 years and I'm still continuing to learn, continuing to adjust, continuing to try to improve my wellness journey and feel better as a human. Like how do we live and how do we eat to feel our best and thrive as humans? And it all starts at the grocery store. So how can I stay on track? And some few things that I came up with were, you know, hard copy list, not your phone, making a list and sticking to that list. Uh, Here at Vitality, we emphasize, shopping the perimeter because on the perimeter of the grocery store is where you're going to find those produce, you're going to find those fruits, vegetables, right? You're going to find your animal-based proteins, you're going to find your dairy, your seafood. And I never really thought about that until recently. So shop the perimeter first and then see where you're at, see where your budget falls. And then if if you want to buy more, sure, go ahead. But just follow the practices of, identifying for those food dyes. And we're going to look at sodium as well. But another thing that I recommend is do not shop hungry because then I'll go in and spend $50 on my lunch or my dinner when it really probably wasn't necessary for me to get extra things. So that's why I kind of like to shop for, a 3-day span. My friends make fun of me for not shopping for the week, but this is just what works for my budget, and I actually end up buying healthier foods when I do it this way. So again, emphasizing reading the labels, avoiding the aisles with processed foods. Again, I'm going to get back into that moving forward. But choose whole foods, choose nutrient-dense animal-based proteins, choose fruits, organic and conventional is still better than ultra-processed foods. But yes, starting small, making small changes can contribute to your long-term health, your fertility, your gastrointestinal health, and make you feel sustained energy throughout the day, which is how I like to feel. Okay, so now we're going to get into probably the most controversial topic trending on social media right now. Most people on social media are still think that all these oils are actually beneficial for your health. Um, and I'm going to tell you which ones to avoid or limit and why. So to start, let's start with avoiding canola oil. Canola oil was founded in 1940s during World War II. It's basically was derived from engine lubricant, and along with soybean oil, corn, sunflower, safflower oils, right? These oils are highly processed. They're bleached, deodorized, they're heated at high temperatures, like 485 degrees, and then they're stored in plastic bottles for months on months, and we don't know how long they've been stored for or what. But again, these oils are known to be inflammatory. And when you're looking at most of these fast food chains and these restaurants serving ultra processed foods, okay, let's look at the oils that they're cooking in. Oh, Chipotle cooking in safflower oil, McDonald's cooking canola oil, right? They're heating these oils at high temperatures, which is pretty much creating like a breakdown product, a toxic aldehyde. It's called 4-neononal something. It's really long. But basically, it's creating these toxic aldehydes, and they create inflammation and stress at the level of the mitochondria, like the level of the cell. So, with that being said, avoid canola, soybean, sunflower, corn, safflower. Um, Start there. That's a great start. And choose this instead. Choose extra virgin olive oil. It's heart healthy. It's going to contain very healthy fats. It's antioxidant rich as well. If you can, choose from a glass bottle. In my journey toward wellness, I've been trying to avoid plastic. Plastic exposure can lead to uh, decreased fertility, and I want to have healthy kids one day and have them thrive. So I try to make small changes moving forward with my life. So, with that being said, avocado oil, absolutely amazing as well. Coconut oil in moderation. I'm gonna say all these oils should be in moderation. I actually don't cook with oil. I cook with animal fats like ghee and grass-fed butter because they're rich in fat-soluble vitamins. And I can get into that a little bit more at the end if you have any questions. But again, avoid seed oils, right? They're filled with these polyunsaturated fatty acids, these 18 carbon, um, right? These 18 carbon chains. But the main story there is that it can cause inflammation at the cellular level and stress, oxidative stress in the body. So again, where are these oils? Like, what do you mean? What is canola oil? Where are these oils, right? So every salad dressing in the grocery store, I'm going to say 98% of salad dressings in the grocery store are going to contain these inflammatory oils. Now, these commercial salad dressings have preservatives, artificial flavors, emulsifiers, right? These are harmful to our digestive tract, our gut microbiome. This is not ideal for our long-term health. Now, I've always been a fan of like the Olive Garden dressing when I was a kid, but now that I'm like being exposed to this and I'm like um, gaining this new perspective, I can actually create my own homemade dressing that's lower in sodium, actually has zero added sugars, better fats, better flavor. And I have a bunch of these recipes. And here at Vitality, we have plenty of these unique recipes and holistic health swaps that we um, love to share to our clients. So, again, emphasizing if you do want to take this another step further, you can always set up a meeting with Vitality. But a homemade dressing of mine, I like to do 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil, right? Again, that oil is going to provide a lot of benefits, anti-inflammatory. Fresh lemon juice, I try to get the organic lemons because they just taste so good. 1 clove of garlic, just mince it up. 1 tablespoon raw unfiltered honey, that's organic. I like Lineage. I also like organic maple syrup, just a little bit, but it's a very amazing flavor. and honey and organic maple syrup are easily digestible carbohydrates for me. And then again, we're emphasizing like experimenting with these dressings, and you can create your own just using real ingredients, right? Avoiding preservatives, artificial flavors, emulsifiers, inflammatory oils, right? So just a new perspective to consider moving forward.